So it's pretty crazy. I've owned this car for almost 2 weeks now, and I've only driven it a handful of times. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video. If you guys are new here, my name is Eamon. This is my 2023 BMW M3 competition, which you guys can't see right now because it is nighttime and the car is black. And let me tell you guys, driving this car is definitely an experience. I mean, just a cold start alone. Now, a few things to know. Unfortunately, the car is still in its break-in service. If you guys aren't familiar with what that is, basically, we're not allowed to go over like 4,000 or 5,000 RPM. So unfortunately, we're not really gonna be pushing the car tonight, but I wanna give you guys a perspective of driving this car, some first thoughts and impressions, because although I have driven this car a few times at this point, but I ain't really like taken the experience and really at least share with you guys my first thoughts and impressions. So I'm gonna try to do that today. So we're gonna start driving, guys. Now, a few things to know. Although I'm gonna give you guys my first thoughts and impressions, please don't think this is like an official review. I'm not a reviewer. There's so many better reviews of these cars out there. However, I'm just gonna give you guys as sort of like a, maybe, I don't wanna say experience, but you know, someone who's owned a few BMWs at this point. I'm gonna give you guys my impressions of this car. I'm also gonna try to drive not too dangerously because, you know, the car's new, guys. I don't wanna break it yet. But I will say just right off the bat, this car feels really nice. It feels really premium, which I love. Just the cabin alone, you guys can see this big screen right over here, you know, the dash right in here. A lot of people ask me how I feel about this screen. I'll be honest with you guys, like, I don't mind it. A lot of people complain about it, but I don't really understand why they complain so much. I actually think it's really nice. I'm a huge tech nerd, so I love that type of stuff. So I really enjoy it personally. But you know, I mean, if you guys like the traditional like dials and stuff like that, you're probably not gonna like it. Now, I do understand that this can kind of take away from that raw experience when driving these cars, because, you know, it feels a little more luxurious and premium, which I personally love. I mean, this is an expensive car, guys. If you guys saw my most recent video, I talked about the price of this thing, and you know, spoiler alert, this thing is $97,000 before taxes, before, you know, financing charges or anything like that. This is an expensive car, but it feels expensive when you're driving it. You know, all the leathers all throughout, the fact that I have the extended leather package, that helps a lot in my opinion. And just, yeah, overall, like, the car feels very, very premium, which I like. I have driven some F80s and F82s, not people's that I know, but honestly, at some point I was thinking about buying one, so I did go and test drive a few of them that I was thinking about buying. Those were used, and I don't know how good of condition they were. Those cars feel a lot more raw than this car. This car feels more pampered. Now, that's not to say this car does not feel raw. Like, just driving it, it has that like hefty feel to it. I don't know how to explain it. If you guys have ever driven like a fast car, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, it's just ready to go whenever. Like, I can't push it. I wish I can, guys, but trust me, this thing just feels like it is ready to go at any moment. And we're not even like in, you know, M1 or M2 mode or even sport mode or track mode, I think it's called. I can't remember. We're just kind of in comfort mode, so I don't think it shows right now, but I will show you guys later what I mean exactly. But this car is pretty much in its most comfortable state, and it already feels super aggressive and like it just wants to go. So this car in a way still feels raw, but it doesn't feel as raw as like the F80, F82. I haven't driven an E92, not recently at least, so I feel like those cars will feel even more raw with the steering as well, because the F80s, they did have, you know, the electric steering like this car does. Now this car takes it one step further. The F80s had the DCT, whereas this one has the ZF8. So the ZF8 is a way more comfortable transmission when you're just driving day to day, like cruising like this. It's great. The DCT, I personally don't mind it, but I see a lot of people complain about, you know, like it's just too aggressive, the clamps are just too much. Personally, I like cars that are a little more aggressive, so I don't mind. But I do understand why people might complain about it. This car, if you guys are complaining about the DCT, I think you'll be happy with this because the transmission feels way more smooth. Like, I don't really feel the shifts right now. I'm sure once I put into sport mode and I really start pushing the car. I did drive slow speeds G80 too, and that one definitely, you know, you feel it once the car is in its like most aggressive state and the transmission is really like working. So that's to say, guys, this car definitely feels raw to an extent. Not as much as previous generations, but I will say I feel like each and every generation of the M3, it gets less and less raw. I feel like the next generation of M3 is going to be a hybrid, so that'll probably be even less raw than this one. In terms of the interior I really feel like BMW stepped up their game. I mean, just look how beautiful this is, guys. The ivory interior I'm obsessed with. The ambient lighting is beautiful. The aesthetics from inside look absolutely beautiful. Now I know that's subjective, but you know, it is what it is. The outside aesthetics are also very subjective. I know a lot of people go crazy about the grills. I don't know if people still are going crazy about the grills like when this car first came out. Personally, guys, I actually like the way that it looks. Like once you have a front lip and the car is lowered and all that type of stuff, it looks way better if you guys have seen, you know, like a modified G80. So I personally don't mind the looks at all. I actually really like them. I just feel like overall, the car looks really good inside and out. It drives very nicely. It's very smooth. It's very aggressive. Again, I really wish I can give you guys a proper experience of, you know, like pushing this car, but because we haven't reached the break-in service yet, we can't do that. In terms of comforts and features, like this car is pretty well loaded. Again, you already have this massive screen, which you can customize if I can quickly show you. So if you guys see right there, you have like your navigation, you have your speedometer, your tachometer. But if you guys actually go down here into M mode, you'll see over here you're in road and you can actually switch it to sport. Once you switch it to sport, it'll actually switch up like that, and that looks really cool. Even the heads-up display, which I don't know if you guys can see on camera, changes up, but this just looks a lot more aggressive, a lot more sporty, so that way you can just focus on, you know, the important things like your speed right there, what gear you're in. I'm just cruising right now, guys, so I'm in 8th gear, it looks like. And then you also have your RPMs right there. Very easy for you guys to see. And now you can actually see on the left, it says efficient, comfort. That's basically for, you know, the engine, the power, the suspension, the steering, and even the brakes. So everything's pretty much in its most comfortable mode. But if I switch it over to M2, let's say, which I actually already configured, and I confirm that, the car just basically became a lot more aggressive, and you guys can see now there, everything is in Sport Plus, except for brakes, apparently. I should probably adjust that. But yeah, I mean, otherwise, guys, this car is super comfortable and super nice to drive. I mean, just overall, like, it has every feature that you'd ever want. This big screen, again, I know it's controversial, but especially once you have like your Google Maps up there and your Apple CarPlay, it looks really good. It's really cool having this massive screen. It's just, you know, like a modern car look. And then overall, like, it has, you know, blind spot monitoring. It has, you know, every feature that you'd really need in a car like this. Heated steering wheel, heated seats, even though I have the carbon buckets, which I'm sure you guys saw before, but here's just another quick look. This car does not have the adaptive cruise control, which you can get if you really wanted to. I personally chose not to get it because I want this car to look good, and having that big weird radar box in the front was sort of a no-no for me. But if you guys do want that, if you do value it, you can definitely get it. So yeah, all of that's to say, guys, I've basically just started driving this car. I'm still learning it. I don't even know how to use half the things in here, if I'm being totally honest with you guys. This is just my initial impressions. But anyways, guys, absolutely love driving this thing. It's definitely an experience. I mean, just look at this cabin alone. The steering wheel is beautiful. The carbon fiber trim is beautiful. The extended ivory interior is beautiful. The ambient lighting is beautiful. It's all gorgeous. Like, this car feels like a genuine, expensive luxury car, but it's also an absolute beast. Over 500 horsepower. We're definitely going to be tuning it as well. Like, this car is not going to stay stock. I promise you that, guys. From an aesthetic standpoint as well as a performance standpoint, we're really going to explore this car and really explore what it has to offer. And it's funny because I'm literally saying all that and I didn't even get to really explore it in its stock form yet. So I don't want to rant here, guys, but basically this car feels absolutely amazing. Coming from a whole bunch of non-M cars, jumping right into a brand new M3. I mean, what new M car doesn't feel amazing? That's what BMW is known for, and that's why we love them. So honestly, just right off the bat, I absolutely love this thing. It drives fantastically. It feels smooth. It feels powerful. It feels luxurious. And I mean, for the price tag, it better feel that way. I know looks are subjective, like I said before, and I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, you paid too much for a car like this, but honestly, guys, I think this thing's absolutely beautiful from every single angle. It just looks so freaking good. And again, I keep on saying it, but we're not going to be leaving this car stock. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of stuff to it. So if you guys want to see all of that, definitely hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned. There's a lot more to come with this car. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to make this video so you can get a first drive impression from me. Again, there's a lot better reviews out there, but if you guys wanted to know what I think and my opinions about this car so far, we'll definitely take the car for a proper drive after the break-in service. But until then, we have to keep it under that 4,000 RPM mark. But yeah, with that said, guys, this video is pretty much done. So make sure you drop it a like, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.